Hello there, and welcome to Szpakowo, or Szpakowo. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it. But this is my choice of a location to continue our series that started in Zielonka. If you are just joining us and you haven't been following along in Zielonka, I started a series that lasted 12 episodes. It was a 100k debt start series, so a €100,000 loan. And we ground our way up to 454,000. We paid off our debt, but I wasn't really enjoying playing the Zielonka map, so we sold everything. We ended up with 454,000 euros, and that's what you see as the starting amount for this map. I had my eye on this map for a while, and I really liked the look of it. But when Precision Farming was first released, it wasn't available for this map, so I started a playthrough on Zielonka because I really wanted to play a European map, but I wanted to play with Precision Farming. And of course, a few days later, this map was updated with Precision Farming. I tried to stick with Zielonka, but it just wasn't working out, and so here we are in Szpakowo. So the plan for this playthrough is we're going to be continuing to follow along the VIP orders. Unfortunately, we do have to start again. We got up to level 3 in Zielonka, but we're having to start again for Szpakowo. So let's take a look at what we need to achieve for the first 2 to 3 levels. So level 1 looks pretty easy, 2,000 litres of soybeans. So what I'm going to do to try and achieve that ASAP is I'm going to try and buy a field with soybeans in, because I believe soybeans is harvestable in November. So if we can start out in a field that has soybeans in it, then we can take care of that pretty quickly, and then we will work towards level 2 next year with wheat, sunflowers and long grain rice, and then at that point we should be in a good position to get some kind of cow pasture and work towards level 3. So that said, let's take a look at the map, and if we deselect all of our crops here, we will enable soybeans. Let's see what options we have. So we only really have 5 options across the map. This one is out, it's way too big to start off with. I really want something that's close to the fuel station, so that really rules out these two, because I don't want to be traveling all the way over here every time to get fuel. So that really leaves these two to consider. And I think I'm going to go with field 162 here. The reason being that if we click on it here, you can see it's got 100% yield potential. It's a fairly decent size for a decent price. And also it's surrounded by other fields that look very appealing. So we can expand our farm out this way. Got a vast expanse of fields here, all with very good expected yield potential. We've also got a couple of forest plots here as well, which we can expand into if we want to do some woodworking, or if we just want to clear the trees out to convert this area into field. So that's what I'm going to go with. We'll buy this field. So that's 51,000 spent. We also need to buy a whole bunch of new... Oh, hello. Do you want to get past? There you go. Sorry, I was obstructing the path. Anyways, we're also going to need to buy a whole bunch of new machinery. So first and foremost, we're going to need a harvester. So let's take a look at harvesters. I think I'm going to go with a different harvester to what we had in Zielonka. So we had this New Holland TX32. It was good to start out with, but I think I want something with a little bit wider working width and just something that is more capable than this. Wider working width, a bigger fuel tank would be nice, and so that leaves us the option of one of these two. Really, we could consider this, but anything really over 200,000 is really not what I want to be going for, because we also need to buy a tractor and a trailer. I think ideally we're looking at this Russelmash Nova or this Massey Ferguson. Now, if we think about level 2 of our VIP order, it includes sunflowers. So we really need a harvester that has a header that can do sunflowers. So if we take a look at the Russelmash, this does have sunflower headers. 3 sunflower headers. The Massey Ferguson does not. So really that does rule out the Massey Ferguson. It's kind of unfortunate, because the next harvester that has a sunflower header after the Russell mash is, I think, yeah, this Envion 450, and then these two as well. So I really don't want to be going to that kind of money to start out with, so I think we're going to go with the Russell mash. So let's take a look. Want manual, CVT? We'll go with CVT. We'll go with whichever design, doesn't really matter, does it? Yeah, we'll go with that. So we'll pick that up. And then when it comes to the header, which one should we get? So we're going to need a regular grain header to start out with. So, or actually, yeah, we're going to need a grain header to start out with. I think what we're going to do for the first couple of months of this playthrough is look at contracts. So let's take a look at which contracts we might be able to do before we buy a header. So there's no contracts at the moment. That's not what I was hoping to see. Okay. Well then, let's go back into our harvesters. We're going to need to buy a regular header at some point, so a grain header. So do we go with the 5 meter or the 6 meter working width? 5 meter is a little bit faster, but it's going to require extra passes of the fields. 6 meters is a little slower, but I think that might be a little better on fuel, because it harvests more of the field per pass. So I think I'm going to go with this, spend the extra 5,000 and go with this for convenience reasons. So we'll pick that up. And what I'm also going to do is, I know it doesn't come with its own header trailer, but I'm going to pick up one of these Nardi header trailers, because hopefully it will work with the header that we have. So it's going to either be this one or this one. I'm not sure which one is going to be best with. And I guess we can go with the... Is that going to be the one? It's kind of hard to tell. I think these are universal. I'm actually really not sure. Just seems like the right idea. So we'll just see if we can get a free wheel color change. We can get black wheels. So we'll pick this up as well. Okay, so let's pick up this header and the trailer, and we'll see if we can get the header to fit on the trailer somehow. I'm hoping we can. I'm hoping it'll stick. Probably won't have the auto stick like the dedicated headers do, like the dedicated trailers do, but hopefully we can get it in a position where it automatically, well, not automatically, but where it balances itself and we don't have to worry about it. Okay, so let's see. We'll drop the trailer off here for a second. And we'll come back, we'll reverse back here. And let's see if we can throw this on here and see if it'll stay there. There we go. And we connect back to our header trailer. I'm actually not sure. We got anything in the help menu that says anything about it? There's nothing really, is there? There's no kind of strap to fix it down. Yeah, there isn't. So we'll just have to see how we go with it. Hopefully it won't fall off. I don't think the harvester can go fast enough around corners to cause any G-force to force it off. So I think this will be good for now. So we'll switch off the harvester. The next thing we need is a tractor and a trailer to get us started here. So I want to try and stick with a fairly cheap tractor, but I would like to get it with the precision farming sensors. So really I think that restricts us to the tractors built into the game. And this one can have the sensors. 160 horsepower for 64,000. I don't need the fenders. I wonder if we should just go with this. We would need the front loader attacher, because then we can upgrade it eventually if we wanted to. It wouldn't be a bad idea. It's a little bit old, but might not be a bad choice to get us started. Obviously get the sensors for it. And then what options do we have? We have wheel weights options, no color options, and then we have some tire options. So that's one option. And then the other option is the 7810 that we had in Zielonka, and this will be 6882, 84 450 versus. It's not really that much difference, is it? No, we don't want wheel weights. We want the 80,700, so it's 5,000 difference. And then the next one up after that is this old school John Deere, 190 horsepower. And then these ones, I think they are mods. Yeah, they're mods, so they don't have the sensors, unfortunately. I think I'm going to discount the Fiat because it has a small fuel tank. I want something that's going to last us more than 5 minutes. I'm wondering if this old school John Deere might be worthwhile. So we can't go with this, thinking about it, because it doesn't have a front loader attacher. So we're going to need something with a front loader attacher. So really that restricts us to this. We could go with the Challenger or the White, but I feel like these are more North American style vehicles, and also they don't have front hydraulics, which we need. So really we are down to this, or if we wanted to spend more money we could go with this at 104,000. Yeah, this is way up there in the horsepower. I'm not sure we're going to be needing anything like that. Although it could be handy if we wanted to get a fairly wide working width cultivator. Let's check one more thing before we make a decision. We'll just check the cheap heavy tractors or large tractors. So yeah, the cheapest one there is 133. And I feel like all of these are kind of geared towards the North American maps. Wow, look at this. It's like an 8-wheel tractor. The Big Roy. That's actually insane. I would quite like to have this at some point. Just to have an 8-wheel tractor. Maybe we can work towards planting and harvesting the biggest field on the map using the 1080 Big Roy. That's a long-term aim for this playthrough. Okay, for now, I think we're going to go with the Agro Star. We'll go for something that's quite powerful, then we won't have to upgrade for quite some time. We'll go with the standard wheels, we'll go with this, so 104,000, and we can purchase that. Okay, so we have 186,000. The next thing we need is a trailer. So what should we do for trailer? We had the Strautmann in Zielonka, so I would like to go with something a little different. What is this? This I think might be a little small for our new needs in this playthrough, so we'll skip out on that. So I think this might be our best option. We'll get it configured with 14 meters cubed for now, and we'll get communal tires so we don't have to pay extra, and then we'll get the chassis repainted. Let's see, what should we do? We'll do a black chassis and we'll do that really nice Bachmann blue for the trailer. Okay, so we'll pick that up as well. So that's all of the equipment we need to get started harvesting. And I'm wondering if it might be worth buying a second field for wheat. What do we have available? Because if we can harvest some wheat, if we look at the VIP orders again, if we look at wheat there for level 2, we could buy a second field, harvest the wheat, and then have that handy for level 2, and then we've got 2 fields for 2 crops next year. I think that might be a good plan. Yeah, I think that's a good plan. So let's take a look at what options we have here. I really would like to make a good start rather than waiting 2 years to complete 2 levels of VIP order, just because we were up to level 3 in Zielonka. So I think I'm going to buy this field. And also, if we do that, we're going to need a silo to store the wheat in, because we're not going to be selling it this month. I wonder if we could build a small silo on the corner of this field. Let's take a look. We go over to this little corner here. There is a tiny bit of space. Now, is there enough space for a silo here? Let's take a look. Silos. We just get the cheapest silo we can. Yeah, that's absolutely tiny, isn't it? Yeah, look, we could squeeze it right in the corner just here. There we go. Then we should be able to somehow sneak our tractor up here. I didn't think about emptying it, did I? Yeah, we should be able to sneak our tractor up here and somehow empty it. Otherwise we can just borrow our neighbour's land. I'm sure they won't mind. I don't think anyone owns this land. It belongs to the trees. We know trees are nice and friendly. Okay, so back over to the farmland then. I am going to buy this second field. Then we can get that harvested this month. Then we can have that second level of VIP order ready to be worked on as soon as we've delivered the soybeans in November. So let's get over to this first field and start harvesting. Okay, quick pause in the time lapse. We are emptying the second harvester load into the trailer. Something I'm noticing with this field is that the yield is absolutely terrible. We've gotten our 9,000 litres that we need for the second level of VIP order, but looking at the yield map, we're averaging 60 to 70%, so this field definitely needs to be taken care of in some way. We also need to collect the straw off the field because I don't want to waste it. So we're going to have to buy ourselves a cheap baler at some point. We'll have to look at our options for that. I'm not sure if we're going to do the baling this month or whether we leave it to September or October. To make a decision on that, I will have a look at what contracts we have for the rest of August once we've done harvesting this field, and then maybe we'll do a contract this month and then focus on our own field in September or possibly even October, because the straw will persist throughout the month, whereas if we have a lucrative contract in one of the bigger fields that we can complete, then that might be worth doing to get ourselves some extra money. I know it looks at the moment like we've got 75,000 euros, so we're in a pretty good position, but not forgetting we don't have any other tools or equipment apart from our harvester, tractor and trailer, and we're going to need a lot to get started. First thing is going to be a baler, and we're also going to need quite a lot of other equipment as well. We're going to need a cultivator, a roller, weeder, fertilizer spreader, seeder, and all of those little toys and implements to set up our farm here in Szpakowo. So we're almost done with this field, the rest of this row and then the row next to us there, and we can take the crop over to our little silo. I'm not going to be selling any of it this month. I'm going to wait probably until wheat reaches its peak price, because again that will gain us some much needed extra cash. Alongside all those implements I just mentioned, we're also going to need a front loader and bale spike, probably a log fork as well, because we're likely going to be doing at some point some kind of wood contract, so the expenses are certainly going to pile up in these first few months of setting up our farm. We're almost done here. I wonder how much straw we'll get off this field. Probably not too much. I would like to have some kind of on-site reconfiguration for our trailer like we had in Zielonka. That was a nice handy little thing to have. Okay, let's empty the rest of this into the trailer. I have to say this tractor sounds like an absolute beast. You can hear the turbocharger whistling away under that diesel engine. Something about a turbocharger whistling away that's always made me pay attention. Definitely a big fan of turbocharged vehicles. Okay, so that is our grain loaded into the trailer. Now let's switch this off and we'll plant the header back on its trailer, and we'll take a look at what other contracts we might be able to do for the month of August. What's this one here? 114. That is barley. We could do 114. I think that might be a good option. That'll give us that will last us the rest of the month very nicely. Yeah, I think I'm going to take that. It's a nice straight field. Take quite a few passes, but it's not too far from here. The delivery point is very close to us, so let's take that field. There we go. So let's head over there with the harvester, and then we'll empty our trailer and send it over to that field, and then we'll get it harvested. That'll provide us a nice 9,600. I would imagine that we'll probably get to 10,000 from all the bonus barley that we usually get from those types of contracts, so that'll be a nice little addition to our bank balance. These roads are going to be interesting to navigate with harvesters and cars, that's for sure. The overall goal for this playthrough is to complete as many levels of VIP order as we can before we lose interest and I don't want to play the map anymore. Been thinking about the rental rules. So for Zielonka I made a blanket rental rule of no renting tools to do like the everyday work, but if we needed to rent a stump grinder or a rock removal tool just to do these odd jobs here and there, we can do. I think I'm going to expand that to include the specialist machinery, because things like the spinach harvester, the pea harvester, and those types of machines, they cost like 600,000 euros. And if we get spinach or peas or something like that for the VIP order, it's not something I am intending on maintaining, and so I can't justify buying the vehicles for it. So unless we're going to maintain a production for one of those types of crops, then we're also allowed to rent machinery for harvesting those types of fields. Hope that makes sense. If we're going to be planting the crop and using productions regularly, then we're not going to be allowed to rent. But if it's just a one-off for the VIP order, then we're going to be able to rent machinery for it. Okay, so I think I'm going to put this on a worker temporarily, and that's just while we deliver the grain to our silo, and then we'll take the tractor over to that field and we'll take over from the harvester. So our farm is just down here, and I believe there's a little secret entrance to it on the left side. So where is it? Oh, it's down much further. Okay. Let's take a little cab ride. Giants FM playing silently. They must be playing bad music if we've got it on mute. Okay, so I think we are just here on the left somewhere. You can see the little dot on the map for our silo, but where is the entrance? Where is the entrance? I think I see it just here. Yeah, we're just in here. Can we squeeze in there? I think we can. Yeah, there we go. Is that it? Not quite. There we go. Perfect. Offloading our first batch of wheat. And that is to be sold once we reach, once we complete level 1 of the VIP order. We'll be able to sell that, and that will probably be December, January, when it's at its good price as well. So that'll work out quite nicely. Let's get out of these woods and back over to our farm. Is that a trash bag there? I don't know whose that is. It's kind of messy. Let's get out of these woods and back to the field that we are harvesting for our lovely neighbours. I will get some of that work done, and I will see you in a bit. Okay, so we are making a dent in this field. I wouldn't say we're making good progress just yet. We didn't quite make it around the headland once, and we filled up 2 trailer loads. We've now just filled up a 3rd trailer load. So we are definitely going to have to do a few trips to the drop-off point. Fortunately, the drop-off point is just over straight ahead, actually, where you see those silos in the distance, just where the vehicle store is and the fuel station. So we'll just head over there, get this stuff dropped off, and then we will head back over to the field and we will continue harvesting. So we've got 14,000 litres on board, and I think we just about managed one and a bit laps of the field for that amount. Barley I think is probably one of the highest yielding arable crops, so not surprising that it yielded quite a lot. But we're definitely going to have to make a few trips over here with this trailer. And considering whether it's worth adding the additional piece to the trailer to give it 21,000, but I'm just not sure if it's worth spending that money. Let's see how much it is. We'll take a look in the store and we'll see how much that actually costs, assuming we can do that. How do we reconfigure the vehicle? Let me just take a look. I'll put the zone markers on just for a minute. And there's the store, but where do we reconfigure the vehicle? Looks like we may not have a shop here. Let's try. I wonder if we go in here if this is an option. No, that just takes us to the vehicle store. Yeah, I don't know where the is it around the back maybe? Nope, not around there. I don't know where we reconfigure our vehicle. Okay, back over to the field that we are harvesting for a contract. And when we get back over to the field, we'll jump back in the harvester and continue on. So I will get some more of the field done, and I'll rejoin you once I've made some more progress. See you in a bit. Okay, so coming back to you here for a second, I completely forgot to check the fuel level in the harvester until we were at the opposite end of the field to the fuel station. I thought I would check it, and we are beeping like crazy because we are almost out of fuel. So rather than trying to complete another row to get down to the bottom and then going to fill up, because I'm not sure we would make it, I decided to drop the header, take off to the fuel station as quickly as possible. Not sure if we'll make it, hoping we do. I just don't know how close to empty the bar will get before we actually run out of fuel. So here's hoping that we have enough to get to the fuel station. We will see. Tense times. The suspense is almost unbearable. I think we probably have 1, 2, 3, 4 more rows to do. So making good progress at this point. I really would like to know where the service point is in this this area. Maybe it's in the shutters. I think that might be it actually. I didn't spot that before. I will take a look in a second. So almost at the fuel station. I think we're going to make it. Yeah, there we go. We made it, thankfully. And I do have a mod installed that makes the gas prices realistic. So this is going to cost us a few $100 at least to fill up. I think it was a 500 litre tank it has. I think that's what the number was. We're about to find out. €1,000 to fill up with fuel. Rather expensive. It's a good 10% of our profits. Now before we head back to the field, I'm just going to switch off the engine and take a quick run over here. Yeah, this makes sense because it even says that the service is here. There we go, it's hiding in here. Now where's the trigger point for it? Down here maybe? Oh, actually don't know. Let's switch on the triggers just for a second so we can see where the trigger point is. It's right there in the corner. It's good to know for the future. Okay, we'll switch that back off. Jump back in the harvester, and we'll get back over to the field and continue scooping up the barley. So this field is almost done, and I'm definitely happy that we didn't do that 22 acre field, or however big that field was. Definitely happy we decided not to do that field. I think it was a good decision, because this field, let's take a look at this field actually, see how big it is. This field is 9 acres and it took this long. This field is 17 acres, so it would have taken approximately twice as long, and I can't even imagine if this field was only 50% done at this point. It took us about 5 hours of game time. It would take us another 5 hours to complete the other field. Anyways, let's get the harvester, we'll send it back over to the other side of the field where the trailer is. Let's no, not like that. We'll get a create job going, and we'll set the destination down to there. And then in our tractor, we'll head over to the sell point. Now, we've dropped off 3 trailer loads, which has been 14, 28, 42,000 litres. We've got almost 11,000 litres in the trailer here, so that's 53,000 litres. And I think you get to keep around 10%, so we're going to get to keep around 5,000 litres. So when we get to the sell point, I'm going to check the crop calendar, because it might be worth keeping that 5,000 litres. That is not an insignificant amount, so it might be worth keeping it until the barley reaches its premium price. Okay, so here we are at the sell point. Let's take a quick look at the sell prices. So barley at the moment is 492 is the best price, and it goes up to 682. So we would make an extra 1,000 if we kept it, or we could use it for something else. You could maybe wait and see if a supply and transport contract comes up, because we could do, oh, we have one here, but 19,000 litres, too much. We're definitely not going to have that much left over. We'll see. Let's start offloading, and we will see what we have left over. So let's see, do we have the option in this trailer to change the tip side? We do. So left, right, grain door. Yeah, let's do the grain door, and then it will come out slower. Okay, so definitely worth keeping that amount. That's 7,000 litres. We'll get this taken back to our farm. I wonder if we can put this on an artificially intelligent friend. I wonder if they're intelligent enough to get this back over to our farm. Let's see. Set destination, and we'll set them on this road somewhere like that. Okay, and then we can take care of the harvester. You know what I was thinking actually as I've been driving backwards and forwards? This area here, this grass field, would be a fantastic place to move our farm to once our operation is big enough. Because having these fields up here for our crops would be really, really good. So if we look at the map, yeah, we could have this whole field 131 could be our farm. In fact, we could have bought it with the money we had, but that's okay. We could have bought it with the money we had, but then it would have taken much longer to work towards the VIP orders. So it's okay. What we'll do, I think, is, yeah, we'll aim to set this up as our farm, because that will be pretty cool with the entrance down that little road there and across the stream. And then all of our farm buildings can be here, our productions, etc. And then we have tons of fields here for planting, crops, harvesting, and all of that kind of stuff. I think that's a really good idea. Yeah. Because the yield potential for these fields is fairly decent. I mean, 100, 105, 106, 104. and that will work perfectly for our goal of having bigger machines. And one thing I would like to do as well is, so the VIP orders is one thing, the big, what they call Big Roy, the Big Roy tractor, I would like to have that, but I would also like to harvest this field because it's the biggest field on the map. So 23 acres. I believe it's the biggest field on the map. I think this one is the second biggest, and this is the third biggest. But I would like to harvest the biggest field on the map with Big Roy. Maybe that's something we can work towards alongside our VIP orders. Anyways, for now, let's get back over to our farm and get the barley offloaded. Okay, so here we are back at the farm. Switch off the harvester. And let's get this barley offloaded into the silo. So if we jump inside the cab, we should be able to see a bit better on navigating, at least to get to the silo. And then we can, yeah, here we go. It's much easier to navigate to this point. If we're in the cab, and we'll drive around here like that, and we'll reverse and get this dropped off. Go. So at the offloading point, and let's change the is it up, down? No, it's that one down. So there we go, we'll just offload this, and that can be another load of grain. It looks like the silo might be full. Yeah, silo's full. So, okay, well that can be a next episode problem. I don't think we need the trailer for now, so it's not urgent that we fix it right away. So we'll switch off the tractor and we'll bring the harvester into our field. But I think this is a great place to end the episode. Hope you've enjoyed our first episode here in Szpakowo. If you are enjoying following along, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel, and maybe even engage via a comment or two. And I will be back in the next episode, but until then, bye for now.